Hi, my name is Adlet Rugambayev, and in this screencast, I'll talk about Metro Manila BRT project and actually about shortcomings of this project and why it's better to invest money in MRT rather than BRT, despite its cost expensiveness. Metro Manila is a large metropolitan area which includes 16 cities and one municipality. Population of this area is 13.3 million people. Density 260 persons per hectare and 2.5 million vehicles operate in this urban area. Travel demand was equal to 12.8 million trips per day in 2014. Main modes of transport are cars, trucks, buses, jeepneys, railway, and tricycles. Average traffic speed ranges between 20 to 38 kilometers per hour. BRT project itself costs 109.4 million US dollars. Main objectives are increasing accessibility, especially for poor inhabitants of Metro Manila, as well as reducing greenhouse gases. Capacity is 300,000 commuters per day. Length 13 kilometers between Manila City Hall and Quezon Circle Memorial. Travel time is 43 minutes instead of current 90 minutes, and 167 buses will operate along the corridor, and it will have 16 junctions with other roads and streets. If you carefully examine this map, you may notice how dense is this area, and you will be right. In this case, actually, Manila City and Quezon City has the highest population density within the Metro Manila, and their combined density is 300.5 people per hectare, which is even higher than Mumbai and in Dhaka. Let's talk about shortcomings of the project. The first issue is absence of public discussions on BRT construction before decision making, and in fact decision was made without asking potential customers about their preferences and feelings, and to our mind this is certainly wrong way of implementation of a policy with a significant social and economic impact. Moreover, we think that this approach contradicts to soul and content of constitution. Another issue is actual carriage capacity of the corridor, which is, according to our calculations, is much more lower than claimed 300,000 people per day. Our calculations based on the assumption that BRT planners should give about 4 minutes for traffic participants from intersected roads for passing by BRT lane, and in this case 2-minute frequency seems optimal, and otherwise low frequency will increase traffic delays at these 16 intersections, and under such circumstances the corridor could accommodate about 60 buses, each with capacity of 100 persons per hour in both directions. So if we assume that BRT serves 80 hours a day, realistic daily carriage capacity will equal to 108,000 travelers per day, with no delays for BRT and other traffic. In theory, World Bank approach also could work, but this is possible only at the expense of terrific congestions at intersections, since bus frequency will be about 44 seconds, and this will definitely lead to drivers' engine protests, as it's recently happened, for example, in Delhi, in India. And just for comparison, I want to provide you a number of MRT capacity. It's about 324,000 customers per day without any negative effect on urban traffic flow. This information just for comparison for you. So here we have two scenarios. So according to a realistic scenario, we have no delays at intersections, bus stops, and no delays for crossing traffic. And if we will follow World Bank approach, so in this case we will have also delay at bus stops. It will happen due to interplay of short bus stops with frequency of service, and since majority of bus stops unable to receive more than one bus. So if we follow this scenario, so we'll have two issues: is delay for crossing traffic and delay at bus stops, which is very likely in case of 167 buses in operation. Third issue is unattractiveness of BRT for private car owners, and we argue that it's a serious drawback for the project, since Manila is car-oriented city and car dominance is a key factor causing traffic congestions. Here is the evidence of car dominance in Metro Manila. 1.5 million out of 2.5 million vehicles operating in Metro Manila and private utility, and only 30% of total trips are made by cars, while they take up about 78% of road space. So According to this data, Metro Manila is a place of blatant injustice regarding low-income citizens, and we can mitigate this inequality by supplying only attractive public transport. And BRT project, to our mind, is another attempt of government to encourage modal shift from cars to public transport and thus decrease traffic congestion in Metro Manila. But is BRT able to decrease traffic congestions? So we highlight three conditions for modal shift from car to BRT. So first of all, it's competitive travel time. Another one is comfort and safety. And finally, BRT capacity to accommodate this additional number of passengers who abandon their cars. Let's consider each condition separately. So in terms of travel time, BRT is quite competitive because could carry passengers within 33 minutes against 39 minutes by car, and it's good. About comfort and safety, BRT could offer segregated busway and new high quality buses, while the problem will be crowded bus stops and buses itself, as well as accessibility of bus stops and bus stations. So here we consider that the choice will be very individual and depend on individual and his preferences. But the third condition is very questionable because 70% of trips are served by public transport in Manila, and BRT will operate in urban area with probably highest population density of the world. So that's why we question that BRT is able to accommodate car drivers who will be ready to abandon their cars and shift from cars to BRT. So here is the picture from Bogota, and it's very likely that BRT line 1 in Metro Manila will be crowded at the same rate. And I have a question also. Looking at this picture, do you think private car driver is willing to abandon his vehicle and shift to BRT? Now time to compare BRT and MRT. So this table represents results of study conducted by Sistro Consulting in Bogota, Colombia, and Curitiba, Brazil in 2006. And the comparison was made according to some criteria, and overall MRT outperformed BRT in terms of commercial speed, capacity, regularity, land use, urban integration, and networking. While BRT was better in terms of investment costs, implementation, and flexibility. So on this slide, I want to focus on investment costs because many cities made their choice. Many cities favor a BRT because it's much more cheaper in terms of capital investment, in terms of operational costs, and often doesn't require subsidies from government. And I want to focus on this advantage of BRT and argue that in case of Metro Manila, this BRT's advantage, it doesn't work. And what's why? Because MRT is profitable business in Metro Manila, and if to consider operational costs, fare box recovery ratio in Metro Manila is greater than 1.0, which means that revenue from operational revenue is higher than operational costs. And evidence for this could be taken from LRT experience. Line 1 and Line 2 in Metro Manila have operational profit every year. And another evidence is that MRT Line 3 belongs to private investors. So that's clear that if there is no perspective of earning money, so private investors would never invest in MRT Line 3 in Metro Manila. So in terms of capital costs, government has several options how to reduce their investment amount of government investment in constructing MRT lines. So first of all, it's real property development model. It's quite applicable in Metro Manila, and because it successfully works in Hong Kong. So it means that government grants exclusive property development rights of the station areas to MRT owner below market rates. And Hong Kong has been a pioneer in using this approach to fund railway projects, and other cities are increasingly looking to implement it. Another innovation is tax increment financing, which successfully works in US and UK. The principle behind this mechanism is that railway project will lead to increased tax revenues, such as property tax, for example, as a result of improved public transport network. So therefore, government can use these future increased revenues to borrow from financial institutions and fund construction costs on the railway project. And third, and more ordinary and usual approach is to take a loan from financial institutions, long-term loan, and pay this loan at the expense of operational profit. And ideally, to our mind, government of Philippines and Metro Manila municipalities could combine this approach, use them all together. And finally, I want to highlight 6 advantages of MRT over BRT. First of all, it's much higher capacity, which is very important in case of Metro Manila because it's urban area with high population density and growing population. Second one is high commercial speed. Third one is MRT is more likely to attract private car owners. And fourth, it stimulates development of new urban areas, which is important feature for helping Metro Manila to decrease congestions in downtown and currently busy areas. And fifth, it doesn't affect other traffic participants. And sixth, it definitely boosts the real estate sector in Metro Manila.